It is an absolute and indisputable fact that American oil production is the highest it's ever been, even with Joe Biden as president. What the media doesn't want to tell you, because the media is trying to cover for Joe Biden, is that American oil production, though the highest it's been, could be higher. Oil production could be even higher than it is. Donald Trump opened parts of ANWR, the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge in Alaska, to drilling. We know there is a ton of oil there. And Joe Biden shut it all down. Joe Biden has canceled and refused to expand leases for federal lands. He's taken offshore drilling off the table. So though high, our oil production could be even higher. Not only that, it's not just the production, it's the refining capacity. And Joe Biden has curtailed our refining capacity in this country, has failed to issue permits. He's done a lot. The media is covering for him, saying, well, Republicans are pouncing, but we're at the highest oil production levels in the country. Yes, and it still could be higher. And refining could be faster and expanded. But also, let's keep in mind, Joe Biden also screwed up our relationship with Saudi Arabia. Listen, I got a plain hard truth for members of the media, and they hate it. They respond like petulant children. The reality is, Saudi Arabia may be bad because of Jamal Khashoggi and other things, but Saudi Arabia is a necessary ally in the Middle East. And Joe Biden decided to take the Jimmy Carter approach of human rights issues and relationships. And because he didn't think Saudi Arabia has a good one, and he, like the media, are mad about Jamal Khashoggi being killed, decided to say, screw you, Saudi Arabia. And guess what? Saudi Arabia said, ha, 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 ha. We'll give our oil elsewhere or we'll restrict it. And they've done this to hurt Joe Biden, and it's actually hurting the American public. And it's all because of Joe Biden's incompetence. Y'all, the truth is that, yes, the United States is producing an all-time high of 12.8 million barrels a day this year. It's going to grow to 13.1 million barrels in 2024, according to the Energy Information Administration. That's up from 5 million barrels a day in 2008. We are roughly the number one global oil producer. That's all true. But what members of the press fail to talk about are the restrictions that the Biden administration has placed on oil producers, the walkbacks of access to land, federal land, the regulations and the costs, and also one other important thing. The Biden administration has declared war on oil production. It may be high, but Biden has said he intends to end it all. So there is no incentive for oil companies to invest further in oil production in this country when Joe Biden says their days are numbered. Why would an investor invest in oil production in this country? You know how long it takes? It takes decades for oil companies to get their investment back. When you say you only got 10 years left, there's no reason to drill more because they're not going to get their investment money back. It's a bad investment on their part. At the end of the day, it's a business. It's not just pumping oil for you. It's a business to reward investors. And when your investors are told there's no reason to drill because you're not going to get your money back, they don't drill. The Biden administration has done everything possible to disincentivize exploration and expanded production in this country. They're looking at record drilling. We're drilling more than we've ever drilled. Yes, but it could be even more. We shouldn't be relying on OPEC at all. We should be overall a net exporter. We shouldn't need any foreign oil in the United States, but we still do because of what the Biden administration has done. And it is notable that it is members of the press circling wagons around the Biden administration yet again to claim that what is true is not true, to obfuscate the truth and muddy the water and throw up objections to the truth. And yet it doesn't appear to be helping Joe Biden. There's polling out The AP NORC poll. We can ignore Donald Trump in this polling now. Let me just read you this key statement from the polling. In the poll, according to the Associated Press, fully 77% said Biden is too old to be effective for 4 more years. Not only do 89% of Republicans say that, 69% of Democrats say that as well. Yes, it's true. They still prefer old Biden to what they view as corrupt Trump. It's true. That's what the polling says. But if the economy tanks, will they still say that? Americans have had enough of old men for president. That's also, by the way, the age issue is weighing on Trump in the polling as well. The public's had enough of Joe Biden. They don't like the alternative, Kamala Harris. They don't seem to like the alternative, Donald Trump. They want someone new. And by the way, you should know this transcends young voters. Senior citizens, the boomers. They think Joe Biden is too old to be president. Gen X thinks Joe Biden is too old to be president. Millennials think Joe Biden is too old to be president. Gen Z thinks Joe Biden is too old to be president. Men think Joe Biden is too old to be president. Women think Joe Biden is too old to be president. They all think he's too old to be president of the United States. 26% of people directly brought up Joe Biden's age. An additional 15% used words such as slow or confused. One Republican thought a potato might have been Dan Quayle. Among Democrats, Biden's age was mentioned up front by 28%. They preferred terms over president, leader, strong, or capable. One who approves of his performance nevertheless called him senile. 3% of the survey came up with confused as the first descriptor for Trump. Some came up with old. 15% used crooked or corrupt. 11% used bad. 8% used liar or dishonest. Biden just seems to be very compromised by age-related conditions, says Eric Denzenhall, 60, a corporate scandal management consultant who's followed Donald Trump's career and worked in the Reagan White House. Even people who like him see him as being frail and not altogether there. Whatever Trump's negatives are, I don't think most people see them as being related to being disabled in an age-related way, he said. In fact, the more you throw at him, the more he seems like a ranting toddler. Disturbing, sure, but elderly, not necessarily. Trump has been ranting this way for almost 8 decades, and it always drives him forward. That's one quote. One Democrat said Joe Biden looks like an older gentleman with emphasis on old. He has problems. Bernie Sanders is going to New Hampshire, driving speculation. Now, Bernie Sanders was on TV the other day praising Joe Biden, but Sanders, he's back in New Hampshire, and it's raising questions. He is tapping down on Gavin Newsom as well, telling Newsom to wait his turn. Gavin Newsom is earning the ire of the White House. This is from NBC News. Biden advisors bristle at Gavin Newsom's plan to debate DeSantis. Vice President Kamala Harris's allies are particularly annoyed by the California governor's move into the spotlight ahead of a possible 2028 Democratic nomination fight. Though Biden's camp no longer sees Newsom as a wannabe challenger, and some in Biden's orbit praise him for acting as a top campaign surrogate, Newsom's plan to debate Ron DeSantis on television carries more risk than potential reward, these people say. This has caused consternation within Biden's operation and among Kamala Harris's allies. Some Biden advisors have complained privately that the planned debate, which Fox News host Sean Hannity would moderate, could make voters think Newsom is running a shadow 2024 campaign at a time when most Democrats say they prefer a different candidate at the top of the ticket. It's not clear yet the debate will actually go forward. They've been haggling over proposed rules since DeSantis accepted Newsom's standing challenge this month. But the specter of the two governors going head-to-head has highlighted the degree to which Biden's interests aren't always clear and can diverge from Kamala Harris's interests. Some Democrats think Newsom will help Joe Biden. Here's the problem. Joe Biden appears old. You put Gavin Newsom on stage, it makes him appear even older. Whether you like Newsom or not, he's not a dumb man. You can disagree with him. I do on pretty much everything. But he's more energetic than Joe Biden. He's not prone to wandering off a stage, nor is he prone to losing his thoughts. Having Newsom and DeSantis debate on Fox News, it helps them both, and it hurts Trump and Biden. I wonder how many people would watch. I suspect a number of people would watch. They're haggling on the details. Kamala Harris's team, of course, is furious because Kamala Harris herself is not a good candidate and not well liked by people, and she's afraid of getting upstaged, and she is going to get upstaged. The problem for Joe Biden is his age. And there's a circle around, there's a covering aspect to it. The media is circling the wagons. They're trying to cover for him and do his apologetics on oil. But at the end of the day, the problem is Joe Biden's age. It keeps coming back to Joe Biden's age. All of the polling shows it's a problem. Joe Biden, he went off to Hawaii for a couple hours. He went back to Lake Tahoe. By the way, the White House is already signaling he's going back to the beach. He's been in Lake Tahoe. He's headed back to Washington this week, and he's going back to Delaware to go back to the beach. He's going to spend the last weekend for Labor Day weekend at the beach in Delaware. He hasn't done any work. Now, I don't complain. Republicans complain. I can't believe he's not doing his job. I don't want Joe Biden to do his job. I wish he would stay on vacation. But it is kind of remarkable how much vacation he's taking at his age and how much the media has to do apologetics for him. Poll after poll after poll after poll after poll shows Democrats and Republicans both think the guy is too old to do the job of the presidency, and he refuses to get out of the way. And that, my friends, helps Donald Trump. Even Chuck Todd this weekend on Meet the Press said the conventional wisdom in the press that Donald Trump can't win is something the press itself needs to be disabused of. Of course he can win. Odds are against him, but he can win. He did in 2016, after all.